Hello, Squirrel Tribe. I want to play something for you here because I want you to see the difference between somebody who can think for themselves and somebody who cannot. And by think for themselves and cannot, I do mean Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. I want you to hear this and just really understand how everything is being regurgitated time after time that Kamala Harris hits the campaign trail to talk to the 100 or 106 people that will show up to listen to her. So I'm going to play this for you so you hear exactly what I mean. I've said it numerous times that if you can't just go out and talk to the citizens, talk to the people that you are wanting to vote for you, and have a honest to goodness discussion about what is going on, what you're going to do, and whatever else, are you really presidential material? If you have to have somebody write scripts for you so that you can make sure you hit all the key points, which none are ever hit, just so we're all fully aware, and you never switch it up and you don't know how to change it up. You do the exact same thing time after time after time. Nobody's going to take you seriously if you're constantly just reading the same thing over and over and over, no matter where you go. I want you to see this so that you know exactly what I'm talking about.
We know our immigration system is broken, and we know what it takes to fix it. Comprehensive reform that includes strong border security and an earned pathway to citizenship.
Same pauses and everything. Are you kidding me right now? Like literally the exact same pauses, the exact same facial expressions, the same movements and everything. Kamala Harris is basically at this point a puppet. We know it. She was plucked and put into place for the Democrat ballot for presidential nomination. And now she just has to follow whatever script the puppet masters want her to say and do it the exact same way every time. That way she can't mess it up. That's what it feels like to me. And I think it's absolutely crazy that that's where we're at. Now, this is totally off topic, but look, we have RFK Jr., Elon Musk, and Donald Trump getting their groove on. Hey, get it, boys. Yeah. Anyway, that's off topic of what we're doing here. But I just want people to see that Donald Trump is not repeating the same things over and over like a parrot. And yet, unfortunately, Kamala Harris is. And it's sad that that's where we are with a woman who can't even go off script, off topic, and have a conversation at her rallies or meetings or whatever they're called. When there's only like 100 people, I don't really know that it's a rally. It's more like a small, intimate group setting. But I want you to hear this. This is from Charlie Kirk. He says, Tucker at his best. He picks apart Kamala word by word. She's a very scary person. She can win. Watch. So this is from I thought this was from her acceptance speech. I'm pretty sure it is because I recognize the outfit that she's wearing. But I want you guys to see this. It's just over 2 minutes. So let me pause this and turn the volume up. Because again, these are things that we need to share. And if you haven't seen this, if you don't watch Tucker Carlson, or if you haven't been on X to see this, it's important that you know exactly what's happening.
Consider what he intends to do if we give him power again.
Meaning Donald Trump.
Consider his explicit intent to set free violent extremists who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol.
Minus her at the border.
Explicit intent to jail journalists, political opponents, and anyone he sees as the enemy.
Straight bullshit.
Can I just interject here for a second? This woman's really scary. She could easily get elected president. She's much more skillful than I have ever seen. She's a liar on the deepest level.
Yes.
The things she is saying right now are not just untrue, they're the opposite of the truth, which is the hallmark of evil. She's an extremist. She'll say anything. She's much more like Gavin Newsom than I ever realized. I could go through a whole litany of why what she's saying is not true. It wasn't an armed mob. There's not one person inside the Capitol with a firearm, period.
Keep that part in mind.
The only person who was shot in the Capitol was an unarmed woman shot by one of Nancy Pelosi's bodyguards. So again and again, she's telling us that she fought the cartels to secure the border. She's the border czar, and the border is controlled by the cartels.
She argued that Donald Trump, quote, tried to throw away your votes. Didn't the Democrat Party just throw away all the votes and install her?
Well, exactly.
Exactly.
She's saying that Donald Trump will free from prison violent extremists, meaning like 75-year-old lower middle class women with diabetes. when she endorsed defunding the police and opening the prisons to allow actual criminals out, which is why the crime rate has spiked, to allow the population of Venezuela's prisons, Caracas's prisons, are not opening in the United States because of her. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, and I don't want to sound like I'm whining or fact-checking, which I hate, but what she's saying is the mirror image of the truth. She doesn't care. She's got no reference points in the truth, and she's an extremist. And she's a former prosecutor, and no former prosecutor should hold power, period.
I agree.
I've covered them my whole life. I've intensely disliked every single one of them for good reason. I think they're scary, they're liars, and they're megalomaniacal. And they put people in prison for political reasons. I've seen it again and again.
He had me at megalomaniacal because my brain, it took me a second to be, how do I even say that? Megalomaniacal. Big word. But I agree with Tucker Carlson. Kamala Harris, if you really want to get down to the nitty gritty of it, she is scary because she can lie to the American people with a straight face. She stands up there and acts like she is telling you the absolute truth, that she has your best interest at heart and that she's doing everything she can to make this country better and to keep this country safe, when literally we can look with our own eyes and hear with our own ears that all of that is completely false. Yet she has this way about her that because she clearly says it like she believes it, it makes other people want to believe it. And that's the terrifying part. She is or was a prosecutor. Their whole entire thing is learning how to lie to get people convicted or not convicted, however they need it to be done. What, I don't really know how to phrase that there. But she is a scary person because she is able to get people on her side despite the truths that we know go against everything that she is telling the people. Tucker Carlson is a very smart man. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy, I'm going to read to you a post that he put on X. I've got it right here. It's a lengthy one, so here we go. He says, Kamala Harris supports a tax on unrealized capital gains, and here's how that will trigger an economic calamity. And before I get into this, for a lot of people, they don't know what unrealized capital gains are. He breaks it down, but basically it's taxing you on money that you could make, and you have to pay out of pocket for it before you ever actually make it. And heaven forbid you don't actually make that money. You've already paid them. You're shit out of luck. You're up a creek without a paddle, all these different things. And that's terrifying. It's a way for the government to get free money from the American people and never have to give them anything for it. And if things go wrong, they never have to give it back to you. This is for them to fill their coffers, fill their pockets, and screw the American people so that the American dream is literally poof, gone, done, dead, because it is all about making it so that you don't want any assets. You don't want an extra house that you can rent out and make a side income from. You don't want to have stocks, because heaven forbid you make money in the stocks, you have to pay taxes on that before you ever take it out. And then if your stocks fail or plummet, you're still out of that money. It makes it so that you and I will own nothing and be happy. That is what this pushes. Let me read the rest of this. Currently, if you own an asset, stock, house, land, etc., and it goes up in value, you don't pay taxes on the appreciation until you sell it. Makes sense. You haven't actually made any money yet. Now, this is what Vivek is saying, and this is absolutely correct, right? Until you sell something, you don't pay taxes on it because it doesn't make sense. You haven't gotten any money. Why would you give anybody money if you haven't sold? Biden and Harris want to change that. In 2022, they proposed a minimum tax of 20% on total income, generally inclusive of unrealized capital gains. Well, Kamala Harris is going even farther with it. In 2023 and 2024, they bumped that up to 25%. This never became law, but the Harris campaign shows no signs in disavowing it because she is actually talking about it. The unrealized capital gains, she has mentioned it previously in her little small local gatherings of 100 or so people. Imagine you're a family farmer or a small business owner whose property goes up in value. Try to picture this, okay? Or consider a startup founder. I know, this is Vivek again. He's the kid of a middle-class family who had a brilliant idea for a consumer technology company that's worth a lot on paper. But he doesn't have spare cash because he poured his savings into launching his business, which is growing and likely to succeed. The only way it would fail is if he has to sell shares prematurely. And that's exactly what this tax would force him to do. The IRS doesn't care that your newfound wealth only exists on paper. They want cash. The same goes for someone sitting on long-term capital gains in their public stock portfolio. Think about your 401k. They have to sell in order to pay taxes, even though they otherwise wouldn't have wanted to. This creates a vicious cycle of what's known in capital markets as forced selling. You have to sell off assets to pay your tax bill, but so does everyone else at the same time, triggering a downward spiral in asset prices. It's the best formula for triggering a politician-made market crash. It's significant that even though even thoughtful Democrats won't support this policy on its merits, they just insist it'll never actually happen, not exactly a ringing endorsement. You telling me it's not going to happen doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It doesn't quell my fears that it's going to happen. You have to think about this. The people who will be hurt the most are you and I, middle class America. The people who will reap all the benefits from it are the 1% and the politicians sitting at the top who are waiting for the market crash so they can come in and scoop everything up for themselves, BlackRock, and then we own nothing. Yet I'm not happy. If I lose everything because the government wants to continue to tax me on stuff I don't even have yet in my pocket, how many more Americans are going to be homeless? How many more Americans won't be able to own a home they now have to rent, which is the whole entire premise of what the Democrats want. They want you to own nothing. They want you to rent. There's so many neighborhoods going up where it's not, you can't buy it, but you can rent it from them. You can lease to own, but that's probably never going to happen either. But so many places going up, single family units, townhomes, think what else is there besides townhomes, like condo stuff, but that's normal. Apartments you normally rent anyway, but the subdivisions I have seen, Georgia's really bad with it right now. I'm in Florida, but in Georgia, they're really bad with it, building up entire neighborhoods. And you think to yourself, oh, this would be great. And you go in wanting to look at a house and it's rent only. They have all control over you. They can kick you out whenever they want, and you have nothing to say about it. You're putting all of your money into something somebody else owns, and there's no money back in it for you. There's nothing for you to sell. Now, the only plus is there's no unrealized capital gains for you to be taxed on. And that is the whole point in this. It is literally about destroying the housing market, destroying the stock market, absolutely everything, so that the people are reliant upon the government. That's what it all comes down to. And I think everybody really needs to understand and know exactly what that means, because it is a very huge deal. Now, this is a little bit late. It's getting dark out here, which is why I'm using this as like a little baby flashlight. It's like ghost story night. We talked about it yesterday before it happened. I said, hey, listen, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is about to team up with Donald Trump. He's going to take his name out, because we talked about how he took him and Shannon or Shanahan, I don't remember the girl's name, her last name. I don't remember her name. His pick for his VP, whatever. They pulled himself off the Arizona ballot, right? And then he met up with Donald Trump in Arizona. Well, this is from Laura Loomer, and this is a big deal. This is, let me show you guys. Oh, I guess because it's so dark, it's very hard to see. There we go. Got it. Now I'm in the darkness. There we go. The downsides to recording in a Jeep at 7:15 p.m. So this is in the Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania. This is in response to nomination papers of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Nicole Shanahan, there's her name, as the We the People candidates for President and Vice President of the United States in the November 5th, 2024 general election. And this says respondents Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Nicole Shanahan as We the People candidates for President and Vice President of the United States as a result of today's endorsement of Donald Trump for the office of President of the United States, hereby withdraw their opposition to the petition of Alexander Reber and Jenniken Smuckers, whoever they are. Accordingly, respondent requests dismissal of their nomination papers so that they do not appear on the Commonwealth 2024 general election ballot. Laura Loomer says, the decision to endorse President Trump was announced by Robert Kennedy Jr. in a Pennsylvania court filing requesting removal from the ballot. Now, I will say that I said before that RFK Jr. has dropped out of the race, and technically, he's technically out of the race. He's taking his name off ballots and things like that, but I think he's taking his name off of swing states, and he's still on some ballots, but I don't know if that's because he's going through each state one by one and taking his name off the ballot. So as of right now, he's still on some, obviously, but I think that he's going through and taking them off of all of them. And this is absolutely amazing, because most independents that were going to vote for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. look at him even some Democrats, and they see that this man who's always been a Democrat, whose family has always been a Democrat, has willingly taken his name out of the race in numerous states so far, and he has linked his name to Donald Trump, a Republican, as opposed to the Democrat Party, which is going to give a lot of Democrats pause, because they're like, wait, if this predominant family of Democrats suddenly stops backing them, there's got to be a reason why. And you may see a lot of the independents who are going to vote for RFK Jr. giving their vote to Donald Trump, because they are going to be working together. And I think that's amazing, because it means that we have a much better chance to beat the Democrats and Kamala Harris, even though we all know that the election is not going to be as fair as it should be. And if for some reason at the end of this, it is not Donald Trump who goes into office, then we all know exactly what that means. What is this here? I want you to see RFK Jr.'s epic entrance to the Donald Trump rally in Arizona after endorsing Trump. A lot of y'all may have already seen this because it's been on social media all day and I'm a little late with it. But I want to show you anyway, because I think it's extremely important to see. Let's see.
I don't think too many of you people have heard of him. He's very low-key.
He's being funny.
He's a very low-key person.
Very low-key person.
But he's highly respected. He is a great person. I've known him for so long. For the past 16 months, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Look at that. You hear that? You hear those cheers? You would think this was WrestleMania or the Super Bowl, right? No. Oh, remind me to tell you in a second. Hold on. I'll tell you in a second. I won't forget. Okay, I just realized I probably can't play that because it's Foo Fighters. I played it too long, probably. But here's the thing. When the Foo Fighters realized that they used this song for them, let's see, when they used the Foo Fighters song, they got pissed off and they came out and said that they didn't give them permission to use their song, and so that all the copyright proceeds they're going to donate them to the Democrat Party. And I'm like, all right, well, there goes my childhood or my high school times. I will not be listening to Foo Fighters anymore. But they said that at the Arizona location, I don't remember exactly where it's at, Glendale, Arizona, it doesn't say where it was. They said that the place had 20,000 seats and it was fully packed 2 hours before Donald Trump was ever even scheduled to come out. And there were still thousands of people outside that could not get in. And they panned around showing people looking in. I might actually have the video of that. They panned around showing everybody looking in. And I was like, that is amazing. That many people showing up. That's what, look, I'm not going to play any audio because I just realized I probably just screwed myself with YouTube. They're going to demonetize the entire video, but we still need to get this information out. So here you go, guys. And I don't edit, so it is what it is. But that was inside before it ever started. This is outside. You see the people still around the outskirts trying to see in. They're like, well, I want to see Donald Trump and RFK Jr. They're out there. They are looking and waiting. Who does that except for people who really truly believe, it's so dark now, really truly believe in the person that they are. Let's see if I can make it brighter. Will it brighten? Nope, it didn't brighten at all. Oh, well, it's dark today. Who really truly believe in the person that they are voting for. Like they clearly believe in Donald Trump and everything that he is about. And I know it's dark and I'm sorry, but I want to tell you this part too. So this is RFK Jr. right here. And this is, it says, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. officially drops out of the presidential race and endorses Donald Trump. He says, I throw my support behind Donald Trump. RFK absolutely ripped the Democratic Party during his speech. Democrats stood against authoritarianism, against censorship. You know what? Let's just play it. This might work out better. Let's pause because I can't say big words today. It's not working, and I know it's dark, and again, I apologize, but we're getting through this guy.
Drove me to enter this race in the first place, primarily. And these are the principal causes that persuaded me to leave the Democratic Party. I
don't know if y'all can hear.
As an independent. And now to throw my support to President Trump. The causes were free speech, war in Ukraine, and the war on our children. We were the party of labor, of the working class. The Democrats were the party of government transparency and the champion of the environment. Our party was the bulwark against big money interests and corporate power. True to its name, it was the party of democracy. As you know, I left that party in October because it had departed so dramatically from the core values that I grew up with. It had become the party of war, censorship, corruption, big pharma, big tech, big ag, and big money. When it abandoned democracy by canceling the primary to conceal the cognitive decline of the sitting president.
That's the end of that. So RFK Jr., everything he said is very true. I mean, he basically ripped the Democrats apart and was like, listen, they are not the party that they were when he was younger, when Robert Kennedy was around, when JFK was around. Like none of it. They're not the same. And so he could not continue to back them and call himself a Democrat when they're no longer who they were or who they're supposed to be. There's a lot more I have here, but it's getting a little too dark. I'm not going to make you guys sit here in the dark and watch this video, so we'll add the rest of this on to tomorrow's video. But I love you very much, Squirrel Tribe, and I would love to know hiccups. I'd love to know your thoughts and feelings on everything here. And yeah, we got more tomorrow, so much more tomorrow. So hopefully you'll be back tomorrow. I love y'all. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your night. As you can tell, like I said, it's getting dark, so have a good night, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. Goodbye.